Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, The Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.
And good afternoon, MFHL fans, and welcome into this Sunday afternoon edition, early Sunday afternoon edition of MFHL Game Day here on your home for MFHL Hockey, G-Show Productions. We got a great one on tap for you all today. The number 1 and number 2 teams in the league facing off against each other. The number 1 seed in the Winnipeg Avros right now, the visitors taking on the 2 seed currently in the MFHL standings in the Eastman Selects. Eastman, they were looking to, of course, stay tied with the Avros in the standings heading into this matchup today, but first they had to get 2 points against the Winnipeg Ice yesterday, and in what was a scoreless first 2 periods, started to see things really start to pick up in the third period of action. As the Eastman Selects were on the power play to start off the third period, Blake Hawes ends up sending the puck to the net where Isabella Carrier would be at the side of it to bang it home for the Eastman Selects' first goal of the game to break the tie in the scoring. But later on in the period, after the Eastman Selects end up taking a penalty, the Winnipeg Ice go to work on the girl advantage. They're able to get possession of it down low, work it up top, where some good D-to-D passing. Carvalho goes back to Texiera, finding man at the right face-off circle, and just send it to the high-dangered areas. That's what Izzy Mann does there, as it goes off of an Eastman Select skate and into the back of the net. It would be tied up until OT, where this would happen. And Sophie Wozniacki putting it home for this Winnipeg Ice team to stun the Eastman Selects, as the Winnipeg Ice into the win column again. They're getting a bit hot as of late, as they've been putting some good wins together recently. For the Winnipeg Ice, they ended up playing on Friday night, defeated the Brandon Wheat Kings 8-0. Been a rough weekend for Brandon on the schedule, facing off against the Winnipeg Avros yesterday and losing that one 5-0. For the Interlake Lightning, they moved to 2 wins on the season after yesterday's victory 2-0 over the Central Plains Capitals. And with that, this is how the standings look heading into this Sunday afternoon matchup to conclude, or matchups, as I should say, to conclude Week 8 of regular season play here in the MFHL. The Winnipeg Ice with the chance to jump up into third place in the standings, given that the Yellowhead Chiefs and Westman Wildcats are away at the Manny Schwartz tournament in Saskatchewan. But yeah, for the Ice, they'll be looking for that big win today against, as we pull it up here, the Central Plains Capitals. Interlake will be in Brandon this afternoon to take on the Brandon Wheat Kings, as Interlake will be in action then. But As for this matchup here today, as the Zamboni continues to make its laps around the rink, around the arena, we're going to get into the keys of the game. As for the Winnipeg Avros, a 2-0 start to the weekend. This team is red hot, haven't lost since the season opener all the way back in October, where they lost in a shootout to the Winnipeg Ice. So, kind of crazy if that goes in the Winnipeg Avros' favor. We could be talking about a team that's 16-0 right now, potentially, if it ended up panning out the same way it has for this team. But they're back to full health in this one. Evie West is now back in the lineup for this Winnipeg Avros team. She missed some time due to an injury. Huge for the Winnipeg Ice to get their captain back, of course, this weekend. And for them, it started off with quite a battle against the Interlake Lightning, as Interlake had them down 3-1 in that first period of action, but the Winnipeg Ice would continue, or the Winnipeg Avros would continue to fight in that one to come back, and ended up winning 5-4 over Interlake. They'll have to be resilient in this one potentially as well against a Eastman Selects team that's coming off of an OT loss yesterday in Winnipeg, and it's really the small details for the Selects at the end of the day. I love their game overall, to be honest. Yesterday, both teams, I think the Ice and Selects, played a very tight checking game, but throughout, I mean, it was the little details that end up costing this Eastman Selects team, like we see on the overtime goal, a bit of indecision of who to cover, who, as Watson Sensky was coming out of that corner, and she doesn't really get disrupted as all as she gets to that slot area and fires home that beauty of a bar down winner. For the Selects, though, if they're able to clean up the small details in their game, one thing that this team is always going to do is push, and they got to keep pushing today against the Winnipeg Avros team, who is not going to back down at any point. I think yesterday was a good preview in a way for this Eastman Selects team, going up against the Winnipeg Ice team that was resilient all the way through and continued to push Eastman to the brink yesterday, to the point where they were able to get one on them in overtime yesterday in Winnipeg at the Hockey for All Center. We're about set to get underway here from the Niverville Recreational Center here on MFHL Game Day on G-Show Productions, your home for MFHL hockey. This is going to conclude our pregame show, everybody. We'll have starting goaltenders for you once the puck drops. National anthem coming up next. Enjoy the game, everybody. The best of the best in the MFHL going at it this afternoon. And this game brought to you by McKenna Fasteners and Tools, Terraco Goaltenders, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Apologies for that cut to black there, folks. Didn't mean to do that, but yeah. The team in white and black taking on the team in black and red here this afternoon at the Niverville Rec Complex here in Niverville, Manitoba. I'm your play-by-play commentator for this matchup. Graham, the G-Show Forsyth, the number 1 team in the league, the Winnipeg Avros, coming in this afternoon face-off against the number 2 team in the league in the standings in the Eastman Selects. Winnipeg 2-0 on the weekend. As for the Eastman Selects, playing their first game of the weekend yesterday in Winnipeg against the Winnipeg Ice and losing with 45 seconds left in overtime. First time these two teams played each other was a while back. Now it was 2-1 in favor of the Avros in a shootout victory. Do we get the same type of result today? The puck is dropped and we are underway in this contest. Brought to you by McKenna Fasteners and Tools, Terrico Goaltenders, as well as Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. The starting goaltenders in this matchup, Addison Tomes, as well as Madeline Sylvester for the Avros, Tomes for the Eastman Selects. As this puck worked into the Winnipeg Avros zone, Schroeder giving chase on Shortridge, 18, first one on it there for this Winnipeg Avros squad as Winnipeg chips it up. Rio Pierre giving chase on Reese Beavis, yesterday's player of the game in a losing effort, or in a losing cause for the Eastman Selects as that pass gets past Beavis. Can't connect with Rio Pierre, however, as Addison Tomes will just settle things down with 19:10 remaining in the opening period. A shot each has been registered on goal. I guess they didn't end up counting that one that Sylvester turned to the side a bit earlier on. As for Madeline getting her first start of the weekend here is both going to Adriana Almeida, who put up a shutout in the victory yesterday against Brandon. Solid weekend for Adriana, who leads the MFHL in wins by a goaltender so far. As the Avros able to dig this puck out and get across ice. Misses for Callie Lavalley, who herself has had a big weekend so far, as this one gets called for an offside. Getting a face-off just outside of the Eastman Select zone. In this game today, I'll show you the stats leaders moving forward, but we got a few of them in this game today in terms of players who are top 5 in goals, assists, points, and even some goaltending leaders in there, as all goaltenders will show up on that list in just a little bit here. But Normando at the point, her shot unable to get through as that's blocked up. Heidinger takes a bump along the boards from Speechley, as the Avros still unable to get this puck out. Now they do. Speechley on it. She kicks that out to the left, able to connect with the teammate there in Turner as Jenna Turner sends this down low. The Addison Tomes out to play it, leaving it for a teammate, but Liberty Amy comes in to take it away with help from number 10 and Sydney Haggard down low, as well as now number 14 and Clausen up high, disrupting things from this puck to get out. The puck finally does for the Eastman Selects. It's the Avros who make their way in again. Sydney Haggard trying to chip this in off the board. She couldn't. Eastman gets it out, but is chased down by number 11 and Carlin Zant for this Avros squad as she takes it behind her own net and sends it up the left wall to Liberty Amy, but good checking from Delaney Rigaud to cut 17 off, sends this puck all the way down low again. It's Leah Clausen now who has it. Robin Clausen wears number 14. This will be taken away again by this Eastman Select squad as Schroeder plays it down low. Danielle Hepner in on the forecheck, forces a turnover. Now an Eastman Select player loses her edge. There in Veda Rigo, no call on the play. This gets back to Hepner, plays it across to Beavis on the right side. Beavis just decides to send this down low as the Selects look to get their cycle established here. Strong along the wall. Veda Rigo to keep this puck in deep for the time being, and Avro along the wall gets cut off. A double team there by two Selects players, but able to get it out now is Sydney Haggard as she sends this down low into the Eastman Select zone. Hepner does the same for the Selects as she sends it in deep to the Avros end. Madeline Sylvester out to play it, left it for a teammate, but didn't end up getting there. Now Heidinger takes it to the slot, ends up loose to Scott Cook, puts that on net, but denied by Sylvester. as it's up to Rio Pierre. Kicks this out to Dinez. Dinez, her shot ends up over top of the net and bouncing on top of it. But this continues here as the puck continue to move. Off the boards, turned over. Now Adeline Nolgren, a former Eastman Select, playing against her former team for the second time already this year. Out there into the slot. She gets it blocked up, though, by former teammate for Nolgren in Beavis. As Beavis now picks this puck up. She'll look to take it wide down the right side. Beavis trying to go one-on-one with Jenna Turner. Ends up losing the puck around the net, but Turner loses it herself. As Beavis looks to just play this down deep and continues to chip it to herself. She has Maya Grenier down low, drops it back to her. As Grenier stick handling along the half wall. Tries sending it on net, but doesn't end up getting there. Turner loses an edge. No call on the play once again from the referee. Side of the net now. Scott Cook tries to register that on net, but could not, as this skated out by Rio Pierre, trying to gain a step on Normando, and does, as she takes a little bump on the way through. That pass into the slot, missing Lavely as that went through her skates. So this chipped all the way out back into the Avros zone now by the Selects. As this somehow getting to number 19 and Celine Wozni, as Wozni sends this down low. Addison Tomes decided to go back to her net after debating if she should play that one. As this now up to Callie Remillard. Stripped away by Leah Clausen, but gets to Grenier. Sends it on net from outside of the Avro zone. Forces for Sylvester to cover things up. With 14:31 remaining in this first period of action. Still scoreless here. Down in Niverville, Manitoba, as Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, sponsor for this first period. Your one-stop shop for premier sports cards and memorabilia, as their Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. As this skated up by Callie Lavely, tries to toe drag on Vader Ego, but stopped her momentum. All she could do for her best option there was put it on net and get a stoppage in play here and a face-off inside of the Eastman Select zone. Robin Clausen take the draw, loses this to number 3 in Schroeder, but Clausen able to continue down low. Hard forecheck in there from 14. Ends up almost to the front of the net, but Tomes takes it away now into the slot for Haggard, trying to get possession of that loose puck and settle it down, but couldn't. Ends up into the neutral zone as Isabella Carrier ends up getting the pass over from 4 in Dixon, the captain, but couldn't cradle it. Settles it down by getting it to the point to Beavis. Plays it to the half wall to Dixon, as Dixon strongly out of this. Gets it over number 12, and Blake Hossey has that blocked up. Now loose puck in the slot, but Madeline Sylvester there to shut the door on number 13 there in Kennedy Carrier. As that shot now just wide of the net from this Eastman Select squad. They continue in on the forecheck though, on the pressure. Down low, Carrier has it stripped away, and the Avros able to work this out. Cross ice to Sydney Haggard. Received that pass from Liberty Amy. Haggard tries to spin around and fire that, but no one was there to begin with for her teammates in the Avros. She was being hounded pretty well there by 3 or 4 Selects players. Now intercepted by Heidinger in the neutral zone. Tries to cut to the middle there, but couldn't get past former teammate in Adeline Nolgren. Now Rio Pierre tries to get this to Nolgren. Almost intercepted, but back to Pierre into the neutral zone. Now past the blue line into the Selects end. Below their goal line, loses his puck to Dinette. Sends that into the slot, but into a Selects player's stick and turned over. Up to Heidinger just before the blue line, sends this in deep for a teammate as Hepner wins the race to the puck there. Gets a jump on Evie West. So that draw pass from Schroeder, a bit too weak to get to Hepner. Now it does. That's Delaney Rigo out there. As Rigo from the corner surveying options goes up to Chloe Carrier, but that pass a bit too tough for Carrier to handle as she couldn't cradle it in, forcing this Selects team to regroup. as the Avros try to get possession of it, and they do again in their own zone. Evie West flips a puck in the neutral zone, but this turned over onto the stick now of Chloe Carey. She gets rubbed out along the boards there by Turner. Good physical play by the defenseman for the Avros, number 15. It'll be Delaney Rigaud picks this up now. Plays it to the point. Davida Rigaud has this block. Huge one there by Pierre, and now a turnover forced. Pierre has number 8 in Lavely heading to the net. Connects with Lavely, but Lavely could not cradle that pass. And that 2-on-1 chance goes out the wayside this time. 11-13 remaining in this one. A good pressure from the Selects. Some good chances coming down on the rush for this Avros team as well. Both teams looking to put it together here early on now, as 9 minutes has been played so far. Isabella Carrier failed to chip that out at first, but now gets this puck back. And Danielle Hepner stripped away from number 19 and Celine Wozni, however, as Wozni for the Avros sends this in deep. It's cut off by Beavis as she skates with it, plays it up the boards to Isabella. But Isabella will be stripped of the puck by Alice Beachley, who dangles strongly to the net. Oh, denied her in tight was number 34 in Tomes. As this all the way down, waved off for what could have been an icing, as Selects get on the forecheck. Isabella Carey from behind the net, trying to get that in front, but couldn't. Still continues to battle along the boards with Carlin Zant, however. Loose puck gets to Robin Clausen. Clausen being double-teamed by Scott Cook. And Abby Dixon, though, picked up by Scott Cook now, in possession again for this Selects team as she works hard along the boards. Still going with this puck. Now it gets loose to Abby Dixon. Up top to Blake Hawes. Her shot through, but covered up with confidence. There on the save by Madeline Sylvester. It's a good time as any to show you the point leaders and goalie leaders. And yeah, Madeline Sylvester, a 6-0 record heading in. Adriana Almeida has now boosted her win total to 9-0-1 after yesterday's win in Brandon. Tomes and Labossiere both with 7 wins each. You see Vader go at the top, near the top of the points in the top 5 there, but no one's been better, as you've seen just now, than Rio Pierre, who has over 40 points so far this season in only 16 games played. A phenomenal sophomore season for the second year. Winnipeg Avro for number 9, who currently isn't out there. It's Clausen, Amy, and Haggard who are out there for the Avros, looking to defend against this Eastman Selects attack at this point, as goes off the skate of Heidinger. The Selects try to send this in deep. Nice effort on the stick check there from Delaney Rigaud. Couldn't force a turnover at first, but now has it in the neutral zone. Almost loses her balance, but got it safely to a teammate. Now this drop to Grenier as her shot deflects. Somehow doesn't get out of play there as thought it would. It's a dive short of the boards. Now tic-tac-toe in front, but the Selects can't connect on it there. It's a good stick in the lane from the Avros to defend in front. Puck along the boards now, as Delaney Rigaud, Maya Grenier try to get this loose. Going up against 3 Avros players, one of them and Jenna Turner, who's now free of that scrum and gets that loose puck over to Shortridge. Being checked hard, though, by Callie Remillard down low. Now another good stick check along the boards forces that turnover into a shot to Grenier. She was denied by Sylvester. Vader Rigaud unable to hold that line. That pass attempt out, as Grenier just sends it into the skates of Turner now. Turner ends up turning this over. Number 3 in Schroeder is Schroeder trying to squeeze up along the boards and almost does by Turner. Good effort from number 3, but couldn't quite be effective enough along the boards in that sequence. Is this now to Beavis, ends up sending it up into the neutral zone. Hepner receiving a pass, but cut off quickly by Leah Clausen. And now this stretched up to Rio Pierre, as she has a step on Blake Hawes. It's just her and Tomes, as Tomes able to come away with a huge blocker save to keep this one scoreless. Now Lavely whacks away at that puck, but misses completely in the high slot, as it's now Hepner who looks to win this foot race down, going up against Evie West. Good forecheck from 19. To force a disruption on the captain, but oh, nifty move there to the middle A little cut in there from 21 to evade the pressure. Got it to Lavely. Rebound there, but oh, nice job on the back check by Alexi Remillard to take away that stick of Rio Pierre on the rebound. As the net goes off its bearings, 6-5 in favor of the Selects in shots. But overall, we still got a scoreless game here, 0-0 in this first period. Thanks for tuning in, by the way, if you are, to this MFHL Game Day broadcast. We had a thriller yesterday in Winnipeg. Another Winnipeg team in action this afternoon against Eastman. The Winnipeg Avros, who are starting to get going here. That top line going to work right now. Sorry, not their top line. One of their top lines, though, is this Avros team with so much depth on this year's roster. So many weapons that can hurt you and beat you. This is picked up by Carlin Zant. Backhand pass into the neutral zone. That misses. And no, that drop pass too short from Maya Grenier. Picked off by Callie Lavely. Dropped it to Wozniak, whose shot goes way wide of the net. It's this down low. All three Avros forwards in to try to get this loose, and they do. Wozniak gets it up to the point to Speechley. Her shot deflected by Zan in front, but not able to get through. Is this now stretched up into the middle to Maya Grenier? Unable to get by Shortridge. This is a good stick. Disrupted that. Cut to the outside. It's off the boards. It goes up to Delaney Rigaud. No icing waved. This is waved off on the play. So this ends up down low to Jenna Turner for the Avros. Turned over. A good pinch in there by Veda Rigaud to disrupt that. She gets back to her D position as there's a scrum tie-up along the boards. Trying to get this loose puck loose. So it does now for the Avros as it's sent across, but sent back in again into the Avros zone. Abby West looks to skate. Oh, smooth skating. Oh, a little dangle through the stick of Schroeder now. She gets back to the outside. That shot turned away by the paddle of Tomes as Schroeder down low now trying to cut off that pass down low to Liberty Amy. As it's Chloe Carrier and Schroeder trying to dig this loose against Liberty Amy. It's Sydney Haggard. Schroeder does just that. As that pass up the middle, unable to hit to Dixon, is just out of her reach. That time it goes down for an icing. So far, this Avros team doing a really good job of taking away that pass up the middle in the neutral zone. Having at least a defenseman on her at all times, whoever that player may be for the Selects. And yeah, overall, I mean, the Avros, as this period's gone along, now that they're starting to get more offensive zone time, making it a lot harder for this Eastman team to break out of their zone with ease. As this, Nolgren gets it up to the slot, a bit off on that pass to Dinez, as Isabella Carrier tries to get a step behind number 4 there in Speechley, or number 11 in Zant, as Carlin Zant almost turns it over in front of her own net, does at the side of it. This is picked up by Isabella Carrier, gets tied up there by Zant, loose puck, picked up by Heidinger. Heidinger stands up to Dinez there with a reverse hit. Now there's a bit of a body check laid on Beavis, sending her to the ice, up to the point. Carrier almost threw a screen there, but unable. Yeah, threw a teammate as that was blocked up by Scott Cook. Cook, out of the net, gets it to Heidinger, tried to get to that loose puck, but couldn't. As the Eastman Selects team, one of the keys to their game for sure is going to be continuing to take that to the net, right? Create a little chaos in front against Madeline Sylvester, but a bigger key is going to be finding out ways how to move that Winnipeg Avros defense, or their defensive structure, away from that front of the net, right? You know, maybe start to scatter the defensive zone a bit of Avros players, because they're doing a really good job so far of taking away those high-dangered areas, the front of the net, and getting good sticks on the chances that Eastman's trying to put on in their goal, right? So this all the way down for an icing. We got a stop option play here with 3:28 remaining. And a face-off draw inside of the Avros zone again, as this will be won by the Selects. Up to Lexi Remillard, who skated with it a bit, but got tied up there by Lavalley down low. Now Ella Speechley trying to drag to the middle, lost the puck. This turned over to Lavalley as her shot wide of the net. It's up, bouncing off the backboards to Delaney Rigaud as 18 looks to go for a skate now. Got disrupted a bit on the way through. Delaney Rigaud able to get to that puck though afterwards. So now this will be sent cross ice. Talia Clausen tries to get that to the point to Evie West, but couldn't. Two Avros kind of collide with each other. Got caught up between Callie Remillard. Delaney Rigaud other way. Lost a handle on that puck. Tried to play it behind the back to a teammate, but couldn't. It'll be Danielle Hepner comes in. Good stick to disrupt that potential pass out of the zone for the Avros team as they work it off the backwards to the left side of the rink there along the wall. This puck gets out to Isabella Carey, who plays this up the right side. Can't fire it onto a teammate's stick, however. Is this now just inside of the Eastman Select zone, whacked out quickly again by Eastman as it's carried up by Danielle Hepner. Her shot to the net, turned aside by number 35 and Madeline Sylvester. This puck along the boards, now picked up by Danielle Hepner. Gets this up to the point to Blake Haas, who goes D to Reese Beavis. Her shot, trying to get that through, deflects off of a few bodies before getting up to the point again to Haas. Her shot turned aside. So that one on ice. High stick waved off by the referees. Blake Haas gets it back to Beavis. Now across to Hepner, but mishandles that puck off of the pass. The pass could have been better for sure, as that potential chance not to be for the time being for the Selects, but able to come in again. Dixon, her shot turned aside from the high slot by Sylvester. With that, a minute 15 remaining. 9-7 the shots in favor of the Eastman Selects. Face-off draw will be coming to the glove-hand side of Sylvester once again. Shan Scott Cook getting kicked out of this face-off draw, so it'll bring Sophia Heidinger in as Heidinger ends up winning it towards the boards, but her teammates yet to get possession of it. It's Heidinger gets possession of it. Trying to go low slot with that pass to Scott Cook, but it was cut off well by the Avros. Good stick by Scott Cook to cut off that breakout pass from the Avros. Avros now play it into the middle, and just able to get out as this sent into the direction for Pierre to chase it down. Pierre, he gets taken out along the wall there, but good support. Nolgren in to pick up that loose puck from number 9. Gets it to the point. Shortridge's shot off of Pierre's shin pad as she was tied up in that slot area. Dinez now works it into the skates of Pierre. Couldn't get it loose to herself. Ends up into the crease where Addison Tomes covered things up. Oh, I guess I might have said Adriana Almeida. I don't think I did when I was talking about Madeline Sylvester here today. Mentioned her in the stats in terms of Adriana, now up to 9 wins on the season. But yes, Madeline Sylvester is the starting goaltender for the Avros today. But we knew that already. Addison Tome's been solid in her own net, in her own right for this Eastman Selects team, as with 26 seconds remaining, her Selects end up winning that draw, but turned over along the boards for the time being into the Avros possession. Rigaud got it right back right away. That pass across to Grenier missed, as with 12 seconds left, it's on to Pierre's stick. That off of a skate, but into the Select zone as Lavalley giving chase on Veda Rigaud, pinning her up along the boards as time runs out in this first 20 minutes of action. And with that, like we saw yesterday from Eastman and the Winnipeg Ice, we see again in this game, with the shots a bit closer during this period, compared to yesterday's first. 9-8 in favor of the Eastman Selects. Yeah, Addison Tomes perfect on all shots. Oh, apologies. Adriana Almeida's in net, not Madeline Sylvester. Thank you, Alicia, for letting us know that. My apologies, everybody. But yeah, Adriana getting 3 starts on the weekend. She's looked pretty solid so far through the 9 shots that she's faced in this one. Yeah, as for both teams, they'll continue to look to keep pushing coming up here in the next 20 minutes of play to see who can break the ice here on the scoreboard. We'll be back to take you through everything that's been going down so far in Week 8 of the MFHL regular season, as well as we'll have some more analysis from this first period of action here on this edition of MFHL Game Day on G-Show Productions. Avros selects, both looking to break the tie in the scoring here coming up in the next 20 minutes of play. And this first period, that was brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia.
Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.
Welcome back into the Niverville Recreational Center, the Rec Complex, whatever you want to call it, down here in Niverville, Manitoba. In a game so far between the top two teams in the MFHL, that's scoreless after the first 20 minutes of play. 9-8 were the shots in favor of the Eastman Selects in a pretty back and forth first 20 minutes of action. Both teams ended up getting some really good chances in front of each team's net, just unable to get a good enough handle on, those rebounds. Both defending teams right now doing a good job of clearing away those high dangered areas in their own end of the ice as well. But Tomes gets the start this afternoon for this Eastman Select squad, getting her first start of the weekend after Isabelle Labossiere played yesterday in Eastman's first game of the weekend in Winnipeg against the Ice. As for the Avros, apologies once again, everybody. I, for some reasons, thought Madeline Sylvester was the one in net, but it's Adriana Almeida who's in net, getting her third start of this three-game weekend for this Winnipeg Avros squad, coming off of a shutout win yesterday in Brandon. And yeah, if we take a look at the statistics here in the league, Adriana looking to add on to her win total this season, which is at 9-0-1 for Addison, looking to get to win number 8 on the year. Yeah, both of these goaltenders, their numbers kind of off the charts if you really take a look at them. Anytime you're able to have a save percentage that's like in the 900s, it's solid. The higher you get up, the more impressive it is. And through 10 games for Adriana and through 8 games for Addison so far, to have the save percentages they have, while putting up the shutouts they have, really impressive stuff. Rio Pierre been sensational so far this year, 46 points in 16 games played. As for Veda Rigo, she's been excellent as well. Has really added another element to this year's Eastman Selects decor, and I mean, it's really all been from that playmaking ability, mostly from Veda. She's got 19 assists. Her sister Delaney, a bit more of a goal scorer herself, as she's got 12 goals on the year to sit fourth in the MFHL in goals. But as mentioned, Callie Lavallee's been having a huge weekend, had 2 goals in the victory that her team had against the Interlake Lightning on Friday night yesterday, also having some more goals added in there to her goal total. So, yeah, she's only a goal away from Ivy Perkin now, which is pretty impressive to be in that company. But Pierre, 19 goals, leads the league, 27 assists, leads the league. Adeline Nolgren also top 3 in assists as well. Yeah, a lot of skill, just to say the least, here in this game this afternoon, going up against each other. And on paper so far this year, the two best teams in the MFHL going at it. Eastman been a defensive juggernaut this season, while Winnipeg's been an offensive juggernaut. 86 goals for in 16 games played for Winnipeg. Very impressive. As for Eastman, 21 goals against, that's almost like close to only a goal against per game, which is pretty wild, to be honest with you. But yeah, the Winnipeg Ice have been doing some climbing in the standings after going through a bit of a losing streak. They've started off their Week 8 action with a bang on Friday night. They took an 8-0 win against the Brandon Wheat Kings, home back to Winnipeg as that game was played in Brandon. Then yesterday, in Winnipeg's biggest win of the season, defeating the Eastman Selects with 45 seconds remaining in overtime. Winnipeg will be in action this afternoon, coming up in just under 2 hours now against the Central Plains Capitals. Other teams in the action today, the Wheat Kings at home for a third straight game this weekend to take on the Interlake Lightning. Brandon, of course, looking to get back to some winning ways as they're now down to 4-7-1. 39 goals against, only 23 goals for, which, yeah, they'll love to see that change for sure moving forward if they can get that to go up a bit in terms of their numbers. But as we get into this second period of action, folks, yeah, expect for another tightly contested period, I'd say. I don't think any of these teams are going to give each other an inch, to be honest with you. And I talked about it with the Eastman Selects during the pregame. You got to keep pushing in this one. Both teams going to keep pushing for that first goal. Coming up as this third period of action, we'll have to wait as this is the second period of action coming up next between these two squads here on MFHL Game Day. In this game, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terrico, Goaltenders, and McCann Fasteners and Tools. For Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. Be sure to check out their website at gshow.ca to find out why. They've been a trusted source for Manitoba producers in the agricultural industry for the last over 80 years. And as for Goaltenders, your goalie's personal video review service, sure to check out their website at gordytomlinsongoalies.ca for more information about what they do over there. Thank you to them for continuing to support the coverage of Manitoba Female U18 AAA Hockey League hockey here on the network. The referees have made their way out onto the ice. The players will be doing the same soon, as we'll have Period 2 coming up next here on your home for MFHL Hockey, G-Show Productions on gshow.ca. And welcome back, MFHL fans, into Niverville, Manitoba at the Niverville Rec Center as the Eastman Selects make their way back onto the ice. Let out by their starting goaltender this afternoon in Addison Tomes, of course. We take a look at Adriana Almeida making her way to her end of the ice for this period, which is on the opposite end of the side she was on last period. As both teams skate around waiting for the puck to drop in the second period of action coming up here on G-Show Productions. Both teams at center ice. The puck is dropped here, and we're underway for period number 2. As sent in to the Eastman Select zone off of the stick of Evie West. The captain touches it up just inside of the Eastman Select zone as we get a early whistle here. With only 11 seconds gone in this second period of action, Evie West off of a face-off draw. One by her squad sends it in all the way deep into the Eastman Select zone. As the Avros look to get on the forecheck here early on, they do just that, trying to get a loose puck, or a puck loose from outside the boards as it's swallowed up right now by the Eastman Selects there. As Evie West sends it cross ice to Dinez. That pass over her stick, now to Heidinger, but can't cradle that pass off of the attempted breakout for the Eastman Selects. As it's played up the left side by Blake Hawes, connects with number 16 in Heidinger. That shot a bit harmless as it gets steered into the corner off of that right pad from Almeida. As Evie West plays it up to Nolgren, but off of 12's glove and turned over to her former team in the Eastman Selects. Alexi Remillard now being hounded a bit there by Winnipeg Avro on the forecheck as Nolgren cuts off the puck at that close wall. Ends up to the point to Evie West. Her shot high ends up deflecting and meeting the glove of Addison Tomes as she makes her 9th save of the game. Now a 10th save of the game for Addison as she covers things up. With 18:38 remaining left here on this second period clock. Those 2 saves brings our second period sponsor on, one of the 2 at least, in Goaltenders, your goalie's personal video review service, as Carlin Zant unable to get that shot through cleanly. Met some traffic on the way through. As Maya Grenier passes up to Delaney Rigaud, kicks us to the outside to Lexi Remillard, who jumps up into the play from her deep position. The defenseman loses possession of that puck, got it to Callie Remillard, who sends it down low. As Delaney Rigaud ridden out along the boards there by number 4 and Ella Speechley, but held in still by this Selects team. Long floating shot from the point, sailed wide of the net. But this sent in deep again by the Eastman Selects. Finally out for the Avros as this goes D-to-D. As Chloe Carrier, hard enough off the boards for it to go off of the stick of Callie Lavalley, but not into a Selects player's possession, as this a delayed offside on the play. After Shortridge recovered her own puck off of that dump in from her. So we'll get a face-off coming just outside of the Eastman Select zone, closest to the Avros bench. Both teams battling away at it, but it's Abby Dixon, the captain for the Selects, who comes away with it. Ended up turning it over to the other captain, and Evie West for the Avros, who banked it off the boards to Haggard. That pass through the middle missed. This is now up to Hepner in the neutral zone. Dixon tried to circle back, but cut off number 17 in Liberty Amy. Now it's Schroeder getting good on the forecheck. Good positioning there. As Evie West tries to dangle her way through Kennedy Carrier, but not this time, as it couldn't get past 13 skate. This sent into the skates of Liberty Amy as she's contested by number 10 and Chloe Carrier. Carrier backs off now to defend, is sent in by Amy into the crease, covered up by Addison Tomes. As the 50-50 winner gets announced here in this arena. We got another face-off coming inside of the Select zone. Draw won by the Selects, but good forecheck off of the draw there by Robin Clausen. Also in on the forecheck, Sydney Haggard, but Reese Beavis able to be strong along that right wall to just chip this one out. It's back on the stick of Beavis now. Goes cross ice, finds the backhand of Isabella Carrier, who lost all momentum having to stop up, so just sent it in deep. Isabella Carrier now moves in on the forecheck, trying to get this puck loose along the boards, but it's into the skates of Sydney Haggard. Haggard now with it on her forehand. This puck gets loose behind that Holstrom in the corner and onto the stick of Robin Clausen. Turns it over down low. Kennedy Carrier tried to feed it out front, but couldn't. Went off the back of the net instead. Scott Cook And Kennedy Carrier continue to battle to get this puck loose along the boards now. They do just that. Get into Maya Grenier. Gets it up to the point to Reese Beavis. Sends it back to Grenier now. Her shot. Oh, a tough one to handle for Almeida there. But turned aside to get a face-off. Covering things up with 15:55 remaining in this period. This draw will be won by the Winnipeg Avros. This is played up to Rio Pierre, who created some dangerous chances in the first period of action. The league's point leader ends up turning this one over off the draw pass. Ends up to Callie Remlard's stick. Feeds it to Grenier, but that one rattles off of 9's stick, turned over again. It's picked up Adeline Nolgren, the former Select. Gets cut off there by former teammate. Or no, not former teammate in Delaney Rigaud, as that goes off of the post and into the corner. Dangerous chance there from this Avros squad. Delaney Rigaud now trying to get a step on Turner. Turner taking it away, though. Good position from number 15 as Delaney Rigaud goes down and heaped to the ice. As this played up to Rio Pierre, trying to muscle her way through, but this will be cut off. Loose puck picked up by Veda Rigaud. Rims this all the way around to Delaney Rigaud, who lost possession of it. Looking back now for a pass back. Got it and sent it in deep. As now looking to go for a skate. Evie West couldn't dangle through Danielle Hepner that time. As she picks up that loose puck, gets it down low to Leah Clausen. Schroeder coming in on the pressure. Dixon also down low. And she ends up forcing this turnover. Loose puck, though, picked up again by Leah Clausen. Is, I believe, a hand pass called on the play. That's what the signal seemed to be from one of the linesmen out there. Keeps this draw inside of the Winnipeg Avros zone. Maybe the refs thought it went into the Selects bench as the Selects win this draw, rimming it all the way around to Dixon in the offensive zone. Dixon along the boards, strongly got it to Schroeder. Schroeder lost a handle of that puck, though. It's worked to the Avros, opposite side, that off of the back of the leg of Lavely, picked up by Schroeder and sent in deep again for the Selects team. So they look to get on the attack. Fresh legs on for them as Schroeder changed for Heidinger. Scott Cook also out on the ice as the Winnipeg Avros send this in deep, looking to get it on the attack. As Callie Lavely loses that puck along the boards. Starting to break out for the Eastman Selects. That pass from Heidinger too far across the ice for Isabella Carrier, however, is that down for an ice. And again, get a close-up of Avery Shortridge and Carlin Zant discussing something as they make their way down to the ice for this upcoming face-off draw. And this second period of action also brought to you by Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. Along the wall, sent down low. Picked up now by this Avros squad. Played to the point. Shortridge, her shot through and turned aside by Tomes. A bit more traffic. It's probably what Ashley Van Aglen's looking for on those point shots. Especially on that one, as Tomes saw it all the way up until maybe the last moment where I think an Avro went in front of her, but tracked that shot well enough before to be able to make the save. Now Clausen, her shot way wide of the net. Couldn't do anything with that. So is Robin, not Leah. Leah wears number 16, by the way. Robin wearing number 14 for this Avro squad. Shortridge, her shot high of the net. It's a great chance there from number 18. The Avros still possess this puck. Is it sent across back to Shortridge as she continues in a forward position on this shift for the time being. Avros try to send this down low. They can't. Robin Clausen gets to the puck there, sends it down low to save this opportunity for this Avros squad as they continue on the forecheck on the cycle. Selects, though, able to get this out as chasing number 16 and Heidinger. Zent able to play that quickly up to number 10 and Sydney Haggard as Haggard from the outside. That shot turned aside into the opposite boards by Tomes as Heidinger works this up. Carrier, her shot turned aside. Rather, Delaney Rigaud who took that shot for the Eastman Selects. Turned aside by Almeida for her 12th or 13th save of the night. Or the afternoon, as I should say. As this is an earlier game here on the network. A 12:15 start here in Niverville. Hopefully, now I'm not sure who's actually here who drove down that may be tuning into this one, but if you are afterwards, hope you made it down here safe. Road conditions weren't that bad, a bit slushy. Honest with you, just hope that, yeah, it doesn't get too slippery out on the roads out there. Hopefully everyone's staying safe during this weekend. And staying warm as well. If you're watching the game here on G-Show Productions, you're probably somewhere warm taking this one in. I.e. from the comfort of your own home, as, yeah, winter officially here. And getting colder and colder. Actually not too bad today, as there's a bit of a temperature drop. Can feel it outside. The intensity in this one, though, not sure if it's going to drop. Only think it's going to pick up here. So you can hear more and more cheering from the benches as this one goes along. Both teams cheering their players on as this puck loose. Delaney Rigaud tied up. No call on the play. Sends up back into the select zone. Alan Nolgren sends this in deep in the direction of Rio Pierre, but way off the mark to get it to her. Veda Rigaud cut off along the boards by Dinez. Kelsey gets this loose to Carlin Zant, who just decides to send this down low. Puck kept down low now. And trying to rim it out are the Eastman Selects, but still can't, is held there by Zant. As this ends up getting all the way down low again. Pass tried to be fed up again to Zant, but cut off just there by the stick of number 9 in Grenier, who also goes off for a change, bringing the captain, Abby Dixon, onto the ice. This to the boards, picked up by Lavely, tried to send it in deep, but couldn't. Shortridge holds the line strongly there along the boards. Nice pinch along there to keep it in. Still strongly, number 18, battling with a few Selects players to keep this puck in. Selects finally do get it out as Abby Dixon works hard to chip that up the left side. But now once in again by this Avros team is lovely turned away by that left pad of Tomes on the chance. As it's a 3-on-2 developing the other way for the Selects. Goalie Carrier shot, oh, snagged. Flashing the weather there by Adriana Almeida. As we continue to see stuff open up for both of these teams. We talked about the little details, right, for this Eastman Selects heading into this one. The small ones, well, unable to get that puck out, having way more numbers against Shortridge than Shortridge had with her Avros teammates, as it was pretty much 3-on-1 for the Selects trying to get that puck out, but they couldn't whack it out. Shortridge stays strong on it, able to get it in behind the Selects defense, which set up that chance for Callie Lavely. Huge save from 34, and Tomes to bail her squad out there. As this gets across to Beavis. Her shot, off of a skate and in to the close boards to us here from our broadcast angle. Kennedy Carrier sends that into the slot. Intercepted, cut off by Callie Lavely as number 8 looks to go for a skate. Tried cut it in, but a good stick there from Reese Beavis, who threads a pass through to Veda Rigaud. The pass up to Heidinger, couldn't connect with 16. Now it's Speechley. In her shot, blasted on net, but turned aside by Tomes again, as this played up into the skate of Maya Grenier. This puck all the way down back into the Eastman Select zone. Shortridge got that down low to Haggart. This puck rimmed around and now off the boards it goes to Delaney Rigaud. Finds Callie Remillard, tries getting into the front of the net, but a nice stick by Shortridge to take that away. She had Isabella and Carrier heading to the net. Lexi Remillard's shot deflects high of the net off of a stick of an Avros player. Pass to the slot through everyone. There is no one there for Eastman to get possession of it. Is this now fanned on by Shortridge, trying to play a breakout pass up to Liberty Amy. Got tied up along the boards. Loose puck picked up by Callie Remillard, and she's turned aside by number 35 and Adriana Almeida here. With 8:02 remaining. A game that's been as advertised heading in. All the hype justified. Both teams close in shots right now, 16-14 in favor of the Avros, still scoreless on the scoreboard. As this pass across to Nolgren, she'll be cut off by number 17 in Beta Rigaud. As Schroeder comes in to help now. 3 Avros players in the area there to take that away. Number 9 in Rio Pierre. Trying to get this puck back along the boards now. But it'll be Eastman who gets it and gets it out. Abby Dixon just touches it out with one hand. It's to the opposite captain for the Avros in Evie West, who has her stick broken. Goes to the bench right away. That goes over to Turner at the point, who has her shot blocked. Turner tries to get that back to a teammate, but could not, as Adeline Nolgren will stay out for the time being. Down there defending with Zant. This gets played to Veda Rigaud. Sends it on and rebound there. Whacking away at it was Eastman, but Almeida sticking out that left pad to take it away. It was Dixon on the rebound. A shot that looked harmless at first, but going to the net hard was Dixon, and then a lot of desperation on display there from the Avros to keep it out from their netminder. Does just that. As face off to the right of Alameda, won by the Selects team. Shot wide of the net. Sent all the way out for an icing now for the Avros squad. Getting face off draw right back inside of the Avros zone with 6:51 remaining. Scott Cook, Kennedy Carrier, and Isabella Carrier out there for the Selects team. Draw won by number 9 in Rio Pierre for the Avros, as Nolgren along the wall. Tried to get this puck out, still with it, but can't get past Scott Cook. Scott Cook picks this up now. Behind the back pass, spinorama to Isabella Carrier, whose shot turned aside by the glove of Adriana Almeida. Actually, believe she might have been trying to just send that to a teammate back door. Nonetheless, a huge save there from 35 to get another face-off. And a bit of a breather for her team. So they're able to strip this away in the defensive zone. Nice stick by Lavely, worked it up to Speechley. Speechley was about to be cut off by Hawes, but sent it down low. Try to get to the puck first on that puck race, but ended up losing it. It's the Selects who feed it up the middle. Scott Cook with an edge on Shortridge, but Shortridge, a huge defensive stick. Clutch on the way back on that back check. So now it's the Avros who turn up possession the other way. That pass missing the stick of number 4, Nella Speechley, but she's back on it now. Got it to a teammate along the boards. Now Scott Cook, number 11 in Normando. Her pass ended up not connecting with Grenier in the neutral zone. That's Lexi Remillard along the boards. Gets that up. It gets behind all 4 Avros that were in the zone. Only one Avro was back to defend. That was Evie West, as that long shot turned aside into the corner by Adriana Almeida. Sent out by Evie West, but turned over. Veda Rigaud trying to make her way up, but she can't get that through the shin pad of an Avro. Sydney Hager tries to dangle in, but a nice defensive stick by Chloe Carrier to take that away. Liberty Amy working down low now for the Avros. It's number 10 and Chloe Carrier again. Haggard turns it over to 10 and Carrier, who gets this up to Remillard. Callie Remillard, her shot blocked. Grenier shot blocked, the same by Clausen. Huge sequence there from number 14. As Haggard takes down Remillard to the ice. Puck ends up down low with 4:39 remaining here in this period. Puck in the Avros zone currently. Vaderigo walking in. Her shot turned aside. Rebound there, but Abby Dixon couldn't get a clean enough handle on it. As Robin Clausen sends this in deep. No icing on the play as that was waved off. She made it just past the red line. As this chipped into the Avro zone. No icing on the play because of it. So it went off of Hepner's stick. Hepner tries to get it back down low now, and she does, but cut off by Shortridge. Schroeder in for support. Caitlin Schroeder turns this over to Shortridge. As Shortridge continues up now, activating into the play, but couldn't get to that puck. Now it's stripped away by Hepner at the Avros blue line, drawing a penalty in the sequence. And with that, Eastman Selects fans, your Selects go to the power play for the first time in this game this afternoon. Of course, coming in tied for the most power play goals in the league yesterday with the Yellowhead Chiefs. 13 on the season, going up against a Winnipeg Avros squad who, their penalty kill, they see it as an advantage at points. So it's been so strong over the year. Been pretty strong again this year as they got some of their best players out. Pierre on the draw won that as Eastman tries to get possession of it. It's against the boards closest to the Eastman bench, as teams both try to dig this away, both the Avros and the Selects. The Selects will, but Pierre was right there to get that out quickly upon intercepting that short pass off of the boards. As Pierre controls this, tries to cut past number 16 there in Sophia Heidinger, but 16 was having none of it as she took it away and now breaks into the zone, sends this down low and gets to the puck first. Heidinger gets this to the half wall to Isabella Carrier. Plays this across to Normando with patience to Veda Rigo. Rigo, a bit of a dangle, gets this to the slot. All teams banging away at it, but puck cleared away out of danger for the time being. Veda Rigo sends it down low quickly. Not Isabella Carrier with some time, but turned aside with Adriana Almeida's glove hand again. There's a chance that number 8 would love to have back for sure. But at the same time, Adriana Almeida doing a great job of being aggressive atop of her crease and cutting down that angle really well. As it's won by this Eastman Select squad. Delaney Rigaud whips it over to Normando. Up top to Lexi Remillard to Delaney Rigaud. Her shot off of West's shin pad and wide of the net as Normando tries to get this down low. Can't, so got it back to Lexi Remillard, but Remillard turned it over and it's sent all the way down by number 8 and Callie Lavalley for this Avros squad. As with 22 seconds remaining, some good looks from the Selects on this power play, but not quite good enough right now as the Avros keep them in their own end. Good stick to force that from an Avros player on the forecheck. As Alice Speechley backing Remillard into a corner. A nice stick there from number 4 as the Avros get back to even strength. Huge PK there from a veteran on this Avros team, number 4, and Alice Speechley. Ended up into the skates of Celine Wozni as the Avros have it back in their own end. Now Evie West stretches a pass up to number 14 and Robin Clausen, but hopped over her stick and ends up into the glove of Addison Tomes. Speaking of Addison Tomes, been solid here today in what's her 9th start of the season as the second period, brought to you by Goaltenders, your goalie's personal video review service. Check out their website, GordyThomasonGoalies.ca. Down low with 1:11 remaining here. This will be sent to the point. Clausen, her shot turned aside. Leah taking the shot that time. As we're down to the final minute of play here in period number 2. from Niverville. Another penalty drawn from Beavis this time around. Lost her balance in the corner, got taken into the boards just a bit there with a bump. And with that, it'll be the Winnipeg Avros going to another penalty kill. We'll leave goaltenders on the screen for that. So the Avros, depending on what Eastman can do here on the attack, will be going into the next period shorthanded. Sidney Haggart is the culprit, the victim on that trip. Her boarding penalty was number 7, Reese Beavis, as into the corner it goes in the Avros zone. Stick lifted by Pierre on Chloe Carrier allows for the Avros to get this one out off of the stick of Nolgren. As this played off the boards. And turned over. Bad one here potentially for Eastman, but a good stick by Veda Rigaud to get in the lane there as she strips it away again. 13 seconds remaining as Rigaud tried to dangle to the middle but couldn't. Sets up a potential late end of the period chance for Pierre, who puts it over top of the net. Gets onto the stick of Veda Rigaud, who just decides to send it all the way down. And with that, we go into the third period of play like we started this second period, scoreless. That period brought to you by Terrico and goaltenders. The Selects will be on the power play for a minute 18 to start off the third. Shots are 18 apiece here, as both teams have had some really entertaining chances in this one. We've seen even bigger saves as this one has gone along. Tomes on Clausen, as well as on Callie Lavely, most notably, stretching out that pad and making the save off of that backhand shot. And then Adriana Alameda up to the task against Delaney Rigaud. This Rigaud ends up being turned aside during that period off of a rush chance, and then most recently, on not this power play, but the one before for the Selects in their first PP of the afternoon, as the puck got to a wide open Isabella Carrier in the slot. But Almeida comes out big time at the top of her crease to cut down the angle and to make the save, which got a face-off at the time back inside of the Avros zone. But yeah, as for this one, MFHL fans, it just seems like it's a case of who simply will want it more at the end of this one. I know not too much insight with that analysis, but in some cases that becomes true. And in this game today, with how tightly matched these two teams are, I think that that analysis holds up in that regard. Last 20 miles of regulation coming up, everybody. Will be the Eastman Selects, who are able to end this Winnipeg Avros long winning streak, which is set at 15, or will the Avros extend that winning streak up to an impressive 16 games? An impressive win streak no matter what. If it ends or continues today, we'll see what happens for it to either continue or end in the conclusion of this one coming up soon. As well, the start of the third period on MFHL Game Day here on G-Show Productions, brought to you by goaltenders Terrico, make hand fasteners and tools, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Both teams still looking for the first goal in this one coming up in the next 20 minutes of play here in regulation. Stick around, everybody. MFHL Game Day, of course. I'm your play-by-play commentator for tonight's matchup, Graham, the G-Show Forsyth. All for now. Welcome into MFHL Game Day here on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca. Face-off coming to the blocker and side of Gordon is on to take the draw. Lane Richardson ends up winning it, but this will be taken away by Matt Carlson. Has Vic Fussin headed into that. Carlson just unload scores! Parker White, that is, out there with Van Alstyne as his D partner. This gets up to Maslow, now connected just near the Charleswood blue line. Oh, what a pass through, but an even better save there from Gordon inside of the Charleswood zone. This puck left for Levine and now fends off one River East player. Tries to get by another one there, but a nice stick from Allen. But here, miscommunication or mishandled by the Royal Knights, and they pay for it as it's the Charleswood Hawks who strike twice here tonight so far in this first period. Second goal of the night. Karen now gets it to McKay with 23 seconds remaining on this power play. Stretched up. Oh, taken out was Lane Richardson. Nice job by Van Norman. 2-0 for the home side on the Charleswood Hawks as Glavina, almost loses it in the boards. Oh, loses it up front in the slot, but Charleswood able to block that up, and now down the other way, a 2-on-1 over to Penner. Hit shot, scores! Karen unable to finish. Now at the point, Reynolds unloads, this time low and wide of the net. Into the low slot, loose puck there, Gordon sprawls out to somehow make that save with the right pad. This will be Parker White. He gets this to Stevenson, plays it across to Vic Fussin, dangling to the net. Sorry, that was Lewis, who gets stoned there by number 30 in Manuk Jr. This will be transitioned out by River East. Oh, big hit along the boards there, Van Norman. As Gordon, top of his own crease, stuck his stick out to leave that for a teammate in Parker White, who, with patience, dropped it back to Lewis. Lewis gains the zone now, cutting towards the middle, drops it back to Parker White. Oh, bar down and in for their fourth of the night. Charleswood connecting on the power play with 5:26 left in this period and 11 seconds left on that power play. And welcome back into the Niverville Rec Center, everybody, here in Niverville, Manitoba. As we got a scoreless tie heading into the final 20 minutes of regulation here in what's been, even though it's been scoreless, an exciting back and forth MFHL Game Day Sunday afternoon broadcast. As the Winnipeg Avros taking on the Eastman Selects in this afternoon's game here on G-Show Productions, your home for MFHL hockey here in the province of Manitoba. But yeah, we'll show you the standings. Both these teams with, it's early in the season, but this one, whoever is able to come out with it would have bragging rights for the time being. Eastman, of course, lost their first matchup of the season against the Winnipeg Avros 2-1 in a shootout. For Eastman this year, all their losses have only been by a goal. Of course, for the Winnipeg Avros, the last time they lost was back on the season opener in early October. Since then, on a 15-game winning streak, which could, potentially come to an end today. Both teams have showcased, some positives in the offensive zone as this game has gone along. Funny enough, we take a look back at yesterday's game in Winnipeg, right, between the Ice and the Selects. It was 0-0 heading into the final 20 minutes of action into the third period, and the Ice were also on a penalty where Eastman had 40 seconds of power play time to start off that period of action in the third yesterday, where they put home their first goal of the afternoon. Winnipeg, of course, would go out and tie it up a few minutes later to make it 1-1, and of course ended off with a Wozniak-Sensky bar-down snipe in overtime for that Winnipeg Ice squad to give them the win over the Selects yesterday. As for this one, yeah, 20 minutes left to play. 0-0 game. Another Winnipeg opponent for this Eastman Select squad. And on the power play again, this time with more time on the girl advantage to start off the period compared to yesterday with those 40 seconds. But we'll see if they can take advantage against one of the league's best penalty kills in the Winnipeg Avros. As for the rest of the action that's happened in this Week 8 of action in the MFHL during this weekend. Started off on Friday with 2 games. The Avros winning 5-4 against the Interlake Lightning in one where Interlake was close to stealing that one against the Winnipeg Avros. It was a huge third period performance from Winnipeg to propel them to their victory in that one. Strong game yesterday again for the Winnipeg Avros against the Brandon Wheat Kings on the road. And yeah, ending off this 3-game weekend with another road game, of course, this afternoon against Eastman. Interlake looking to make it 2 wins in a row for themselves on the weekend to end things off as they go up against the Brandon Wheat Kings today, starting at 2:30. The Ice looking to go 3-0 on their weekend as well, as they'll be in Portage this afternoon to take on the Central Plains Capitals, as both those games will be starting soon. But in this one, not only stuff on the line in the standings, but in terms of the goaltenders, 2 goaltenders that are on this list starting in today's game. Almeida trying to get to 10-0-1 on the year as she's starting in net this afternoon for the Winnipeg Avros, and Tomes looking to get to 8-1 on the season. Both with very impressive numbers, as we've mentioned earlier. Will it be Rio Pierre who plays the hero tonight for this afternoon for this Winnipeg Avros team? Will it be one of the Rigos? Maybe Isabelle Carrier, who plays hero, or someone else for this Eastman Select squad, as we're going to have period number 3 coming up next here live on your home for Manitoba Female U18 AAA Hockey League Hockey here on G-Show Productions. gshow.ca. Period 3 coming up next, as the Avros making their way out onto the ice now in their black jerseys, their road jerseys, of course. And as for the Eastman Selects, led out by Addison Tomes in their classic white home jerseys. Should be a thrilling 20 minutes coming up, everybody. Enjoy this one here from Niverville Rec Center on G-Show Productions. As for both of these squads, waiting for something right now, as a few more Avros players are making their way out onto the ice. We pan over to them. Rio Pierre and Liberty Amy. Interested to see potentially, or hear about what was said between the two as they were late coming onto the ice. Maybe having a pep talk with each other with this huge third period coming up. As the Eastman Selects their starting 5 for this power play, huddled together right now. We'll have Delaney Rigaud and Vader Rigaud out there, along with Callie Remillard, Chloe Carrier. Can't make out who's behind all of them right now, but yeah, mentioned it earlier. Oh, there she is, Maya Grenier. But mentioned it earlier in this one. The Rigos, Veda's added so much more to that team's back end, from not only adding some good defense, but adding some good offensive punch. But you add in Delaney Rigo as well, with the chemistry these two have, and it's been fun to watch all season long. Delaney's had some great chances in this game this afternoon. Veda as well. So, yeah, both teams found out why we haven't started things yet in this third. It's because the ice a bit sticky right now, so the players and the referees just waiting for that ice surface to, settle down a bit. We saw some Avros down in their own end cutting through those puddles and scraping the ice as best as they could with their skate blades, but they finally do have it sorted out. This third period brought to you by Macon Fasteners and Tools. Visit their store locations in Brandon and Winnipeg today. They're also your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. As puck ends up into the neutral zone, Rio Pierre was carrying it. As this skated all the way up, Delaney Rigo muscling her way through to the net, tried to tuck that in on the short glove side, but Alameda up to the task there. As Delaney Rigo was able to break free. Muscling her way up that right side from a strong checking of a Winnipeg Avros defender. That Avros defender ends up going down to the ice, losing her edge as Rigo continued on to the net. This is another quick face-off. After a quick whistle, we'll set up in the very same spot now to the glove hand side of Alameda, as this draw won by the Avros, number 9 in Rio Pierre. But it'll be the Selects who take it away. Down low, fanning on that pass was Grenier, as the ice still a bit of a factor right now. So you could see that puck stuck just a bit on Grenier before she passed it up. Trying to get that loose puck away from the boards now, from out of the skates of an Avro. A Select there. I'm not sure who it is pinning that Avro along the boards. Two other Selects players come in now for support. Grenier joined by Chloe Carrier as they finally do dig it out. Callie Remillard backhand into the skates there of Delaney Rigo as she holds it along the boards. 3 seconds remaining on this power play. We're back to even strength as it's the Winnipeg Avros who look to work this puck up through the neutral zone now into the Eastman Selects end. Speechley, how's that taken away? Strong work along the boards there from number 9 in Maya Grenier. She goes off for a change. Short pass up now to Speechley, who tried to get through Rigo but could not quite do it, as Rigo with a good stick. Veda that time. She goes off for a change. Schroeder forces a turnover down low. That gets to Abby Dixon. Sends this up to the point to Beavis. Beavis back to Dixon. Sends that on net, but wide of it. As the Avros look to play this up the left wall now. They can't quite do it as of yet, as Beavis holds the line well. Now Abby Dixon in to help. Hepner and Schroeder also in the area for support in that scrum for this Selects team. Loose puck out, and maybe a mistake from the Selects as too many players committed. It's Pierre coming down, Dangle! Somehow can't finish off, as it looked like she had Tomes beat. Tomes might have just gotten a piece of that puck as Pierre made that move to the backhand. Exciting action to start off here as that puck ends up in front. Tomes covers it up. And with that, a stoppage with 17:23 remaining. A bit earlier on in that sequence, right? The Selects with numbers to try to get that puck loose out from that scrum and support. The problem is it makes its way past all 4 of those Selects players onto an Avros player's stick, who sends up a pass to Pierre, who Pierre gains a step and is almost gone. She was actually gone to the net, just couldn't finish off that backhand deke against Addison Tomes.
I believe Carlin Zant, who plays this up the left side, ends up through to Speechley, who tries to continue that puck movement up to Callie Lavely, but couldn't. Now it's Celine Wozni. Gets it to Lavely, who all she can do is just stick that in quickly into the select zone. Selects control now. That pass behind a bit for Kennedy Carrier. Able to clog up the boards now and force Turner back. As she went D-to-D with Evie West as West dangles back to the middle, now takes it outside. Her shot turned aside by that blocker of Tomes, as Eastman keeps this down low for the time being. Sent up, Callie Remillard can get that pass intended for her by Lexi Remillard. Normandeau now first one on it, being pressured there by two Avros players, but spins away from that pressure as this gets up. Now stretched up through the middle to Delaney Rigaud, who has an edge there, has some space, but turned aside in tight by Almeida again. Rigaud has had a similar chance in this game earlier before, that time electing to dangle. It's now Veda Rigaud with some room to maneuver through the neutral zone, cuts to the outside, making her way past Dinez. Taking this around the net now, but losing it in her feet. A bit of slow ice slowed that puck down in the water. Now Dinez, a nice dangle through the body of Isabella Carrier now. Dinez sends this in deep, continues on the forecheck, gets to that loose puck. So gets rimmed opposite side. Adeline Nolgren now along the boards, trying to go to work against one of the Carriers, I believe. Or no, that's actually Veda Rigaud. Puck ends up to Chloe Carrier off of the boards. That one hard enough to get out, but not hard enough to get past Leah Clausen as she cut it off in the neutral zone. Now Adeline Nolgren getting a piece of that pass through the neutral zone, which got a turnover up to Rio Pierre. Tries to find a teammate with that pass and does with Dinez. Also draws a penalty on the play as she got slashed in the hand. This top line continuing to take things to the net any chance they get. For Pierre, somehow able to thread that backhand pass through to Dinez. The check-in from the Slucks have been tight all night. A bit too tight there as there's a hack on the hand of Dinez. As Kelsey and her crew will set up on the power play. For this Avros squad, nice aggressive stick by Beavis up in Turner's grill there to force this turnover out of the zone. It's on to Pierre's stick now as Pierre tried to locate a player in the middle but went off of the skate of a select player to disrupt it. As now Adeline Nolgren trying to maneuver her way through, dancing at the line, but had it taken away. As now this will go D-to-D up to Avery Shortridge. It's been so good again on her team's defensive end today. Kelsey Dinez. Backhand pass across to Rio Pierre, who looks to shoot. Oh, a beautiful deceptive toe drag there from Pierre to continue along down low. Circles back up, gets it towards the net, touched up by an Avros player, but that ends up almost underneath Dinez. A clear attempt out by the Selects, couldn't go after picking up that loose puck. Now onto the stick of Haas. Her attempt this time goes, is that high enough? And all the way down into the Avros zone here with 54 seconds remaining on the Danielle Hepner penalty for slashing. The Avros' first power play of this afternoon, by the way, as Rio Pierre carries it in again. Nice dangles near the blue line to maintain her space, but ends up having that sticked away by Normandeau. A rare turnover there. Evie West, her dangle, but shot denied there by Tomes. It's another nice looking rush from the captain for the Avros team. The Callie Lavely out to take the draw for the Avros. Callie Remillard for the Selects. As one strongly to the wall by Remillard onto the stick of Chloe Carrier. With 20 seconds remaining now on the power play. That clearing attempt, though, by Carrier. Flubbed on and allows for this puck to stay in. Clausen tried to glove that down to get possession for the Avros, but couldn't, as this sent all the way down low. 6 seconds remaining on the power play as we go back to even strength. Select's now trying to force a turnover upon getting back to even strength. That shot in sails from the stick of Veda Rigaud and gives us another stoppage in play here. 12:26 remaining in a scoreless game still. It's the straw. Won by the Selects, but picked up right away by the Avros into the skate of Veda Rigaud. Picked up by the other number 17 in Liberty, Amy, but Amy couldn't continue any further with it. Pass now onto the backhand of Sydney Haggart, who kicks this in, delayed offside on the play. He's lost possession of that puck. This all the way down into the Avros end for an icing. With 12 minutes exactly remaining on the clock here. Face off. Grenier and Nolgren go at it. Won cleanly by Nolgren. Shortridge's shot through, rebound, turned aside. The shot turned aside there by Tomes. Pierre with another nice toe drag in. Her shot denied by Tomes that time, as Dinez in tight there for a rebound. Boxed out right away by this Eastman Selects team. It didn't really matter. Tomes already had it in the process of being covered up. This top line remains out for this Avros team. Nolgren, Dinez as well as Pierre. One towards the wall to Pierre again. Has her stick lifted by Veda Rigaud. Back into the skates of Pierre, who ends up getting this down low to Dinez. Plays it along the boards back to Nolgren. Drops this back to Dinez down low. Dinez up to Zand. Back to Dinez, but Dinez couldn't make a move quick enough to get past Kennedy Carey as she sends this all the way down deep. Shortridge first one on it. Being pressured there by number 16 in Heidinger, who tries to force a turnover along the wall. Did for a moment, but Nolgren in with good support. Plays a pass over to Pierre. Pierre whips this cross ice to Dinez, but off the boards. Just out of her reach it went. So now Kennedy Carrier makes her way in. Tried to play this up top to the point, but a delayed penalty coming up here on the play. 2 minutes for a hook. And that will go to Adeline Nolgren of the Winnipeg Avros. So this sends Eastman back onto the power play. Power play so far this weekend that has gotten some good looks, but overall no goals to show for it, except for my mistake, of course, that goal from Isabella Carrier. But one out of so many chances that you've had, would still definitely like to see a bit more output on this power play, especially here in this game, as both teams still look for a goal to break the scoreless tie. As this controlled by this Selects team. Hepner, her shot high, deflected, and a high stick at that afterwards. So got a stoppage with 1:39 here left on this Eastman Selects power play. As this draw. Won by Winnipeg, it looked like momentarily, but Eastman was able to pick it up as they pressure in on the forecheck. 3 girls down low. Could be trouble if they get caught 2 down low here. But for now, they continue to work away at the corner with it. Trying to get this puck loose. Schroeder out there along with Dixon. Reese Beavis also in the corner. Now 4 players down low for Eastman, and this puck able to get out. Last line defense, Blake Hawes back to retrieve this. As Hawes, with 1:02 left on the power play, ends up having Eastman go on a change, and this allows for Speechley to get to open space, receiving a pass and sending it on net. That shot upon entry. As Lexi Remillard plays it up. Normando tries to feed that pass across but couldn't connect with Delaney Rigaud. Loose puck now picked up by Callie Lavalley. Has Pierre heading to the net. Lavalley denied in tight by that glove of Tomes. Pierre tried getting it back to Lavalley but couldn't get it there. Delaney Rigaud, nice chip up to herself as she finds Grenier in the neutral zone. Grenier trying to go backdoor but just taken away with that stick of Leah Clausen getting in the way. We are back to even strength here in 10 seconds. Eastman, maybe one more look on the power play. Into the skates of Isabella Carrier. She couldn't handle that well enough to kick it up to herself as we are now back at 2 even strength. A short pass goes over to Delaney Rigaud. As Rigaud gets it up to Veda. Cut off there by the other number 17 in Liberty Amy. Nice stick lift there from Delaney Rigaud on Nolgren to take that puck away, and upon entering the zone, her shot, Delaney's turned aside by Adriana Almeida for her 23rd save of the night so far, or of the afternoon. So used to calling evening games, forgetting that it's pretty early today still. We're only at 2 o'clock here. We'll be broadcasting a Terry Sawchuk tonight. Hopefully that is the plan, depending on our internet connection there tonight. Tested out earlier this week and seems like it should be a go, but we'll see what happens tonight at good old Terry Sawchuk in Winnipeg, Manitoba. This game right now being played in Niverville, Manitoba. 18:15 left on the clock. Rather 8:15 left on the clock as we're into the final half of this period. Still scoreless as Pierre tried to drag that to the middle to get it past Beavis, but a good stick from number 7. Avros go D-to-D in their own end. Shortridge off the boards. Got it in the direction of Nolgren, but Nolgren couldn't do much afterwards. As this now, the Avros had to be careful on that change. Lucky that ref's not calling that for too many men, potentially. Seen that before on the network this year, and never a fun penalty, I'm sure, for these teams to take, knowing how unavoidable or how avoidable it is to take. But sometimes you can't avoid it, I guess. Avers avoided it there. As this puck ends up still inside of the select zone. Good forecheck in there from Wozni, who's able to backhand this pass over to Veda Rigaud, turned it over. Now the Avers get it wide of the net, but Eastman able to now skate this out. As Hepner cut off there towards the blue line. This ends up onto the stick of Ella Speechley, who drops that back to Evie West. West into the skates, fires this to Celine Wozni. Tries going cross ice with that pass, but couldn't find Speechley cleanly. Speechley sends it in deep, and her team goes on for a forecheck to attack. But leaving the middle of the ice open, it allows for Dixon to get this pass and carry it in. Dixon now turning, fires it to Schroeder in the low slot, but that one unable to connect with number 3. Now into the low slot again with a pass, but taken away well by the Avros, and no one really there for the Selects. What would have been a one-timer chance. The Avros now work this out. Cross-ice pass intercepted by a good stick there of Callie Remillard. As both teams with the same idea of what they want to do. The other knowing what's coming and playing a good system to take that away. But this puck hops over the stick of a Selects player. Liberty Amy cuts into the middle, but had her stick taken away on that move, so couldn't continue on with her momentum towards the net with the puck. As this along the boards now. 3 Avros, 2 Selects battling away at it. Amy gets loose, gets behind the Selects D, but that can't get past the shin pad of Normando as her block sends it into the netting over the glass out of play off that nice shot block from Normando. And for her, she stays on the ice for time being. So I thought actually she ended up changing. It's Chloe Carrier along with Veda Rigaud out there now for this Eastman Selects team with 5:30 remaining. 24-23 the shots in favor of this Winnipeg Avros team as they played D-to-D. Evie West connected with Turner. Now into the zone for Amy, but had that sticked away. It's now sent in by Robin Clausen. But the Selects intercepted that puck right away. Delaney Rigaud tried to play it up the boards, but fanned on this pass as it's taken away by Amy. Liberty Amy tried to play it towards the middle, couldn't get there. Now at the point, Turner, her shot blocked up there by the other number 15 and Cheyenne Scott Cook as the Selects chip this one out onto the stick of Heidinger, who fends off the stick checking number 10 and Sydney Haggard, trying to muscle her way through number 21, the captain, Nebby West, but couldn't. As West back on it. Behind her own net, tries to use the boards and spin away from the pressure there of Heidinger, but couldn't. A 16 cut her off. It's now held in at the point by the Selects. Scott Cook makes her move to the middle, but had that lane cut off. It's over to Beavis. Trying to send this one in deep, but an offside call before that could even transpire. With 4:21 remaining here, getting into the final minute of regulation very soon. Cheyenne Scott Cook trying to win that draw against Nolgren, but Nolgren getting the better of her former teammate this time as Scott Cook rubs out Shortridge along the Selects bench. Gave her a little bump as Eastman tried to get it out up the wall, could not, held in strongly. Good pinch from the Avros along the wall. Shortridge pinching again, gets that shot on net and has it turned aside by Addison Tomes. For those of you that are just tuning into this one, thank you for being here. We got a scoreless game here into the final 4 minutes of regulation as draw won by the Avros. That shot flashing the leather, number 34, Addison Tomes to make the save. Yeah, and this one, 26-23, the shots in favor of the Avros now. In what is a scoreless affair heading into the final moments of regulation soon. Danielle Hepner to play that up the boards, couldn't move it further. This almost stripped away by Abby Dixon at the Avros point. Dixon gets it back, sends it into the opposite corner, which sends Hepner into chase. Hepner out there along with Schroeder. Is Schroeder near the blue line, cut off that pass out. Now Abby Dixon strips this puck away, taking it towards the net. Dixon, just wide of it. Maybe Almeida caught a piece of it, not sure. Could have been the clutchest moment of the captain's season so far, but we still remain scoreless. Puck squirts through near the crease there, and to no one for this Eastman Select squad. This is played back in the neutral zone, sent in by Hepner just before the blue line. Almeida plays it quickly to Evie West, who tries to maneuver her way past Schroeder with a bit of trouble along the wall. She turns back the other way. An opposite side fires a pass to Wozni, which she couldn't cradle cleanly. Puck still down low in the Avros zone. As Wozni comes down now to get possession of this puck, but can't chip it out fast enough. This one high enough off the boards this time. Off the glass, actually, for it to get out. So with 2:19 remaining. It's played up. Isabella Carrier passes through the middle there to Maya Grenier, but can't connect with number 9. Down low again, puck picked up by Isabella Carrier along the backboards. Got a pass to Maya Grenier, who turns one way to evade some pressure. Gets it to Isabella Carrier, who gets that up to the point to Veda Rigaud. Quickly back to Isabella Carrier. Now up top to Veda Rigaud. Her shot turned aside, tracked all the way by Adriana Almeida. And with that, 1:50 remaining. And of course, if you haven't seen it already, a game with some big indications at this point in the season in the standings. Avros number 1, Selects number 2. Coming into today's game as we get back into the action. 1:42 remaining now on the clock. The Avros with a bit of trouble handling this puck at first. They finally do get it out, connected up to Shortridge, who activates up in the play. That shot wide of the net. Along the boards now, Kennedy Carrier tries to play it out. Loose puck gets to Stan Scott Cook, who now has some room to maneuver. Gets that to Sophia Heidinger off the draw pass. Shot turned aside by Almeida. Played to the point to Beavis. Now back down to Scott Cook. As Scott Cook shields this puck along the boards, trying to eat it there, but cannot. As Alice Speechley picks up this puck and rims it opposite way. We're down to the final minute of play now in this third period. Could we be getting overtime? We'll find out here in these next 60 seconds of play. Callie Lavely tripped up on the play, but no call there from the referees. Truly letting them play this one out. Well, very end as this turned over. Abby Dixon, didn't wait long enough for her teammate to clear on that delayed offside. So with 40 and a half left, Caitlin Schroeder will be the one to take the draw out there along with Dixon, the captain for the Selects, and Hepner. Pierre up against Schroeder in the face-off circle, tied her up, and allows for the Avros to push this puck up. Turned over high up in the zone by Lexi Remillard. Schroeder gets it back, plays it up the right wall, just trying to get this one out, but it'll be the Avros who force a turnover into the slot for Olivia Amy. That pass into her skates and taken away right away by an Eastman Select player who's getting hounded there in Abby Dixon. Plays this down low, trying to win on the forecheck, but cutting her off was Evie West. As this up to Rio Pierre with 9 seconds left as number 9 House of Magic in her makes her way through, going to the net. Now Pierre, denied by Tomes with 2.7 seconds left. Almost some late game last 10-second magic there from number 9, but not to be for right now. As Tomes stuck with it all the way. The concentration on full display there from number 34. As a face-off draw, one, but not far enough for the Avros, as we do indeed get some overtime action for a second day in a row here on MFHL Game Day. So we update our scoreboard right now. The shots in that period coming into it were 18 apiece. Ends up being 27-24 in favor of the Winnipeg Avros. Both these goaltenders locked in. Both teams have been having a heck of a time too, gaining long amounts of times of offensive zone time with how these teams have been so aggressive with their D-cores today, and really upon entry for these teams, both teams on the defensive side of the puck not really giving each other that much space. Eastman did start to find some space by getting it up to the point, weighing down low on the forecheck. One thing that they weren't able to do well, though, was in their own end, just trying to get the puck out, chipping it off the boards. The Avros doing a pretty good job of clogging up the boards so far in this game. If you like defense, I mean, this game is one for you as well. We've seen so many chances that don't end up becoming chances for these teams today because of the great sticks, the defensive play from both these squads. A tip of the cap to them so far today. But as for this, as it's not the final in this game, we got to get it to the OT sign. There we go. It'll be 4-on-4 overtime as per these league's rules. 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes is up, and if nobody scored, we go to a shootout. As we are underway here for this extra period of play here from the Niverville Rec Centers. It's controlled by this Winnipeg Avros squad. Their 15-game winning streak on the line here today. Eastman a chance to hop back in the first place, also on the line today. Potentially, depending on how the tie break would work. So both these teams looking to break the tie in this one here today. No goals have been scored. Almeida's made 27 saves. Tomes has made 24. That shot fanned on, ends up in the slot for the Eastman Select squad. Veda Rigaud, her shot from a tough angle, unable to get through the traffic from this Winnipeg Avros team. Short pass played to Zant off of the stick of Pierre. That pass a bit behind Callie Lavely as she tries to get it back in her skates but couldn't. Lavely out there along with Rio Pierre. Grenier and Delaney Rigaud along with Shea and Scott Cook as forwards out for the Selects team. Delaney Rigaud playing the defensive position right now and looking to rush up. Also has Veda with her out there as Delaney upon entry tries to look for more space out on the ice as she's being hounded, but almost has that taken away. Sophia Heidinger now looking to skate this in. Wide gets taken out into the boards. A penalty coming up here on the play as well for interference. 2 minutes to number 20, or number 12 there in Adeline Nolgren. So with that, we'll head to a 4-on-3. Given that it was 4-on-4 before, with Eastman looking to end things here. As Isabella Carrier drops it back to Chloe, gets it back to Isabella. Now her shot can't get through off of the skate of Jenna Turner. The other 15 in the corner now, Cheyenne Scott Cook. Skating along the goal line now, feeds Carrier. Her shot turned aside there by Almeida. A huge cheer from her bench as well. Ends up to the high slot for Heidinger. Back to Carrier to Heidinger to Isabella. Cross ice pass, can't quite get there to Chloe. Back to Heidinger to Chloe Carrier. Has a chance. Her shot blocked there. Another huge one from number 15. But Eastman still maintains possession, still maintains pressure with 1:15 left on this 4-on-3. Get some fresh legs out on the ice as well. Delaney Rigaud scores! Sorry, no, that's Danielle Hepner actually who puts it home. And with that, the Eastman Selects now jump to 32 points in the standings. The Avros still earn a point in this one, but they won't have the outright lead for first place, as it's the Eastman Selects off of another spirited affair this afternoon, bring it home, this time with the game-winning goal for themselves instead of giving it up. That one brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, and it took a power play for them in overtime as both teams come to center ice now to shake hands in what was, wow, potentially game of the year so far here on MFHL Game Day. The emotions intensified as this one went along. And it was Danielle Hepner who ends up playing the hero. Thought it was Delaney Rigaud for a moment, but yeah, Eastman, they're able to maintain full possession throughout that power play, really hemming the Avros in the zone, and with their cycle game going, and with the confidence they had on that, they're confident to get a fresh set of legs out there in terms of Hepner changing onto the ice, and Hepner finding that open spot in the slot, a pass being connected on to her stick with precision from the player who passed it. Forget who it was, but yeah, for Hepner, she makes no mistake. Almeida sprawls out to make the save with the pad, but Hepner just a bit too good on the shot, able to beat her with it. So for the first time this season, Adriana Almeida, I guess not as of yet actually, still yet to lose in regulation. She moves to 9-0-2 on the season. Addison Tomes picks up her 8th win of the year. And as for the Winnipeg Avros, their 15-game win streak comes to an end for the Eastman Selects, back into the win column after just their 3rd loss of the season yesterday, coming in overtime to the Winnipeg Ice. The opposite result for them today, of course, a 1-0 final here in OT. We'll get to the players of the game. Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia will be the Winnipeg Avros side. And yeah, who do we give player of the game to on their side? Some players that stood out for sure. We're going to go on the defensive side. I think the last time I watched the Avros play, or we watched the Avros play and covered them here on the network, this player got player of the game. But with the full D lineup in again tonight, she stood out, I thought, as maybe the most reliable D shift in and shift out this afternoon for the Avros, and that's Avery Shortridge. I mean, the amount of chances that she was able to get back at to, disrupt rush chances, 2-on-1s, or just playing a good gap on a one-on-one with a player coming down on her and having a good stick on her and using really good technique. Also did a good job of making that first pass out of the zone. So, yeah, Avery Shortridge, been very impressed with what I've seen from her this season. And, yeah, even though her team comes away with the loss, she was, in my opinion, a huge part of their success in the D zone and, created some dangerous chances in the offensive zone as well. So that's for Mid-Canton Founders or for Canton Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store, awarding the Avros Player of the Game to Avery Shortridge. As for Mid-Canton Founders and Tools Player of the Game, courtesy of your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs here in the province of Manitoba, with two store locations in Brandon and Winnipeg. The Eastman Selects Player of the Game today, well, we're going to give it to the player who ends up getting the OT winner in Danielle Hepner. Now, to be honest with you, Danielle, I didn't really notice her for most of this game like we usually do here on this network, but she had some good chances in that third period, and just a smart player, a player that knows where to get to make herself available for one-timers or to get a pass from her teammates. We see that on display on the power play in overtime, going to where that open space is in a high endangered area of the ice and makes no mistake of putting it home. I thought that, when Danielle was noticeable in this one, it was on the forecheck, on the power play, of course, and doing all the good things right in the amount of time she had on the ice here this afternoon. Danielle really stood out to me in this one for this Eastman Selects team and gets the game-winning goal. So awarded with the Player of the Game here, brought to you by Mid-Canton Founders and Tools. Once again, store locations in Brandon and Winnipeg. Your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. Be sure to check out their website at midcantonfasteners.shop as well. Thought that Rio Pierre, Callie Lavely had some chances to end it in this game, especially Rio Pierre in the last moments of that third period, coming in down on number 34 in Addison Tomes, but Tomes stuck with it all the way. What a sequence it was there by Pierre. But this Eastman team doing a good enough job in the defensive zone, getting the saves they needed this afternoon to take down the Winnipeg Avros, who were the hottest team in the league, but that flame goes out for the time being. The Avros, their first loss since opening night here in the MFHL, still have yet to lose in regulation so far this year. This is going to conclude the MFHL post-game show here on MFHL Game Day, as well as our MFHL Game Day broadcast. I want to thank you, the viewer, for tuning into this one and for continuing to support our coverage here in terms of, the more views we get, it makes us even more excited when we see that. So thank you to everyone that supported us here this afternoon. Thank you to our sponsors in Mid-Canton Founders and Tools, Carico Goaltenders, Canton Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia for continuing to support us here on the network and our coverage of Manitoba Female U18 AAA Hockey League hockey. We'll show you one last time, everybody, the standings. The Selects up to 32 points. Winnipeg goes to 32 points. And check out MFHLU18AAA.com for how the scores pan out in these two games left to be played here in Week 8 action in the MFHL regular season. But until next time, everybody, I've been your play-by-play commentator and host, Graham the G-Show Forsyth. The Eastman Selects end off this weekend with a win. Their first of the year against the Avros in overtime, 1-0. Avros win streak stops at 15. They'll be looking to start a new one coming up next week in Week 8. While Eastman will be looking to build off of this huge victory for them this year. Maybe their biggest win of the season so far. Take care, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time, MFHL fans.